chapter 29, investment. So investment is the addition to the capital stock of the economy. So when there's investment, it means the capital stock of our economy has increased. And when you talk about capital stock, you're talking about things that will be used to create more wealth. Things that helps, that's the factor of production. Things that help the economy to increase its output. That's what we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. So for an economist, investments only take place if real products are created. So like I just told you, a product must be created, a product must be produced. Without a product being produced, there's no investment. That is the ideology of economists. That's the mentality of economists. They don't talk about investment if nothing is created. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, for example, putting money in the bank is saving. But the bank buying computer to handle your account is an investment. So if you put money into the bank account, it is not an investment, it's a saving. You saved. But the bank, ensuring that they have a computer or buying a computer system to be able to safeguard your money or to impute it on their system is an investment. Do you understand there? Because something has been produced, something has been created.
Yeah.
What's the distinction between gross investment and net investment? For gross investment, this is the total value of an investment without allowing any loss in worth. So, when we talk about gross investment, what it simply means is that the total of whatever you invest without any loss of the value of that investment. That is gross investment. That means this is the investment. Nothing was lost. There's no loss in worth. That means the value is still intact. That's your gross investment. This pen cost this. So this is our investment. The worth is still the worth. That is the gross investment. Nothing has changed when you purchased it. It's still the same cost. Mm-hmm. Then, for net investment, it means cost now minus your depreciation. Yeah. Do you understand the difference between your gross investment is just the cost of that capital. Your net investment is the cost of that capital minus depreciation.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be what we call the net book value, NBV. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So for capital consumption is the same as depreciation. So it's the value of capital stock that has been used up. So depreciation means that stock, the value that has been used. What is left is the value of your depreciation. Because it's a cost. You bought a motor vehicle. As time goes on, the motor vehicle will wear and tear. That is depreciation. It will be reducing in value. That's what we mean by capital consumption. Is it clear?
Yeah.
What are the factors that affect the level of investment? 1, the rate of interest. A rise in the interest rate will reduce investment because borrowing will be so expensive. Mm-hmm. Firms wouldn't want to borrow because they have to pay so much to borrow. But a fall in the interest rate will encourage borrowing because the price to pay for borrowing will be less. So firms will be willing to borrow so much for investment. Is it clear?
Yeah.
That's 1. 2, rate of economic growth. How is the economy moving? How is the economy growing? So if the growth is positive, then firms will be willing to invest more because at that point in time, the aggregate demand will increase. And when the aggregate demand increases, firms must ensure that they are able to produce to meet up with the increasing demand. By so doing, what happens? They need to employ more workers. Uh-huh. Do you understand? So if the economy is growing, investment will increase. If the economy has a negative growth, the investment will be negative. People will not be willing to, firms will not be able to invest. They won't be confident about the future. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Costs. Cost and prediction about what will happen to cost over the lifetime of the investment could determine whether or not a firm should invest. So, if you are investing now, what you're going to spend to make that investment, that amount you're going to spend on that investment, and the amount you will spend over time on that investment might determine if you want to invest or not. So you have invested on equipment. So they tell you, oh, this equipment, it has to be maintained every now and then. So this is the amount you're going to spend for in the next 5 years, because you have purchased. If you purchase this equipment, then you have to compare and contrast if it pays or not. So the amount of money you spend on equipment over the lifetime of that equipment might determine if you'll be willing to invest on it or not. Mm-hmm. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Business expectation and confidence. If firms expect their sales to increase, they will be more willing to invest. If you're so sure that sales will increase, then you would want to invest. The only time you don't want to invest is when you're not sure about it, when you're not confident enough about your revenue. You wouldn't want to invest. Mm-hmm. Is it clear?
Yeah.
The world economy. So here, if the world economy is growing rapidly, the demand for export is likely to increase. This in turn should lead to a rise in domestic investment. Mm-hmm. What we're saying is this: the world economy, that means we're talking about import and export. So if the world economy, if the growth, if there's global economic growth, it means exports will increase. And if export increases, what happens to your domestic production? People would be willing to invest more because the aggregate demand will increase in the world. Do you understand? So if there's global economic growth, it will lead to an increase in exportation. An increase in exportation will lead to increase in investment. Is it clear?
Yeah.
And if there's a worldwide recession, what happens? Investment will fall. Yeah. And export will do what will fall. You know, yesterday you were asking me about how will recession in a country affect recession in other countries. This is it. Yeah. Recession here would affect recession there. Because if there's recession here, if the other country relies on this country for their own exports, then it won't happen. Yes. It could create a problem for them too. Is it clear? Yeah. Any question about investment? Mm-hmm.